Have you ever wondered who were the real-life Robin Hoods in medieval France? In a time where knights and castles dominated the landscape, a different breed of individuals emerged from society's shadows. Outlaws, brigands, highwaymen, they took on many names, but their purpose was often the same. Born out of desperation or rebellion, these figures operated outside the law, challenging feudal authority and robbing unsuspecting travelers. Their existence was as much a product of their era as the knights and nobles. Let's dive into the fascinating world of medieval outlaws and explore their evolution over time. In the early years of the Middle Ages, outlawry was not a well-defined concept. It was more of an amorphous cloud, a vague sense of disorder and lawlessness that hung over the land. Banditry in France during these early periods was not as structured or organized as it would become in later centuries. It was an era when everyone fended for themselves, where survival often meant taking what wasn't rightfully yours. The societal factors that gave rise to these instances of outlawry were deeply rooted in the feudal system of the time. The stark social inequality, the power dynamics between lords and serfs, all created a fertile ground for discontent and rebellion. Those who found themselves on the fringes of society, with little to lose and much to gain, naturally gravitated towards a life of banditry. As we move into the later Middle Ages, however, we begin to see the emergence of more organized groups of outlaws. The later Middle Ages saw the rise of more organized groups of outlaws, often challenging the feudal authorities. As society grew more complex, so did the underworld. Outlaw groups emerged, not as mere bands of robbers, but as intricate organizations, complete with their own codes of conduct. They preyed upon the wealthy, often along the bustling trade routes, their activities ranging from petty theft to organized highway robbery. Some of these groups became infamous, their names whispered with a mix of fear and awe. The Coterel gang and the Eustace the Monk, for instance, were known for their audacious exploits. Their tales were told and retold, embellishing their daring deeds and adding to their legendary status. However, these groups were not just criminals in the eyes of society. In a time when the common people often felt oppressed by the feudal lords, these outlaws were seen as rebels, standing up against authority. Despite their criminal activities, these outlaw groups often held a romanticized place in popular imagination. The outlaw groups of medieval France have left a lasting legacy. Their tales, twisted and turned through centuries, have woven themselves into the fabric of our popular culture, literature, and folklore. They've been romanticized as champions of the poor and oppressed, their audacity echoing through time. These figures have taken on a life of their own, evolving from mere men into legendary figures, symbols of resistance against oppressive authorities. So next time you come across a tale of Robin Hood, remember the real outlaws of medieval France and the complex role they played in society.